Yo, what's up beautiful people of YouTube? Welcome to Dom's Media Zone. So for the past few months, I've been creating videos and tutorials on Canon's DPP4. So that's Canon's Digital Photo Professional 4, the software itself and how to use it, how to use all the tabs and buttons and settings in the software itself. So for today's video, I thought I'm going to take a photo from beginning till end, apply some of the stuff I've learned while making these tutorials and just show you guys how I edit my photo from beginning to end using some of those skills that I've learned while creating those tutorials. So this is more of a demo video of how I would edit a photo in Canon's DPP4 using what we've learned so far for the past few months. And for those of you who haven't watched my tutorials yet, I will put all the links down in the description, so go ahead and check those out. Hopefully there's some useful ones that will help you out. So if this video is for you, stay tuned and enjoy. Hi everyone and welcome to today's Digital Photo Professional 4 tutorial. Today I'm going to be taking a single photo and editing it from beginning to end using everything that we've done in the past on these tutorials. If you haven't seen the previous tutorials, I'm going to put all of them in the description, so go and watch those first. They will help you figure out all the settings and all the tabs in Canon's Digital Photo Professional 4. But for today's video, I'm going to show you how I would edit my holiday pictures and I'll show you the flow that I use beginning to end. I'm going to pick a photo. Let's go with this one. And once you've selected your photo, I'm going to click on edit image. As you can see, this image does take a little bit while to load because it is quite a large file. I work with RAW files, which are generally larger. The JPEG files will not give you all the options in Canon's DPP4, so it's best to work with RAW files in this software. Okay, for those of you who are interested, this photo was taken in Elm Bay in the Isle of Wight. Very beautiful place, really worth a visit. Alright, so to begin, I'm going to be starting off in the Perform Basic Image Adjustments tab, because this is where all your basic settings are located, and we're going to try to make this photo look a little bit better. So I'm going to adjust the brightness. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because this photo is a little bit overexposed in my opinion. So I'm just going to drop this by a little bit. Now I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and then over here we've got a tool called Fine Tune, which lets you fine tune the colors. Now this photos, the cliffs were really beautiful. They had a lot of orange and red in real life. So I want to make those colors come back and pop out a little bit more. But currently there's a lot of yellow and green in this photo. So what I'm going to do is just move this point away from the green and the yellow just to bring out the reds a little bit more, so you don't have to do this by a lot. I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, and as you can see, the red colors kind of came out a little bit more and the yellows and the greens got decreased. Alright, I'm going to scroll down now until I've got my histogram over here. So in the histogram, you've got 3 lines over here. The first line adjusts the shadows, the second line is the midtones and the high tones. So I'm going to take the one that adjusts the shadows and move it to the right until it meets with my histogram over here. So this made the image a little bit more clearer and a little bit darker in the places that were darker. Then the midtones I'm just going to leave where they are, and the high tones I'm just going to move it to the left a little bit, which will increase the brightness, but don't worry about that. We're going to deal with that later on. Okay, down here to my settings, I'm going to adjust the contrast. I'm going to increase it a little bit to make it more clearer. And then the shadows, I'm going to increase the shadows maybe by 1 or even 2, just to bring up the dark parts where it was really dark so you can see more detail on those. The highlights, because the sky is a little bit overexposed, I'm just going to drop the highlights by quite a bit in this photo. So I'm going to make the highlights, let's say -4 even, and that should be all right. I'm not going to adjust the color tone or the color saturation for now, because I can do that on the color channels later on. Now to adjust the sharpness, what I'm going to do is firstly zoom in on the photo and find an area of the photo where I can kind of focus on and see what the sharpness is doing. So I'm going to zoom in by 200 and then scroll down until I find something like, for example, over here, we've got these kind of pillars that are holding this pier up. Let's focus on those and the railing over here. So I'm going to switch on my sharpness, and the option I've got is the unsharp mask, because this option allows you to control your sharpness much more than just the sharpness mask. So let's switch that on. Firstly, what I want to do is increase the sharpness a little bit. So I'm going to make it, let's say 5. Let's see what that does. As you can see, it did make the image a lot sharper, but it's also introduced these kind of particles where it looks a little bit squarey, which is fine. We're going to counteract that with the threshold just now. So next thing is the fineness. Let's adjust the fineness. Maybe let's say to about 2, and that increases the sharpness a little bit more. And then to counteract the two, to get rid of these little particles in the background, I'm going to just increase the threshold to about 4. Let's see what that does. Yeah, that did a little bit of a job, so that looks alright for me. When you zoom out, you shouldn't be able to see any of these. You could even make the threshold a little bit higher. Let's make it 5, and it always takes a while for the results to appear. That's why I'm waiting between changing the options and then viewing the photo again. So now I'm happy with that. I'm going to go back to full screen by clicking this button over here. Alright, I'm happy with that for now, so I'm going to scroll all the way up, and then I'm going to jump into the adjust image tone curves tab, which is over here. Now over here, what I just want to do is just decrease this brightness a little bit. So I'm going to grab it somewhere in the middle and just take it down a little bit. So if you pull this backward, it gets a little bit darker and the colors become a bit darker. If you move this forward, you'll see the image gets brighter. So what I want to do is just darken it a little bit more, something like this, not a lot. Somewhere there looks alright. The next thing I want to do is adjust the individual color channels, which can make a huge difference to this photo. So go ahead and click the adjust image colors tab over here, and I'm going to start by adjusting the red color here. So over here you've got your hue and your saturation and the lightness. So here you can darken or brighten them. Here you can increase or decrease the color, and here you can actually change the hue or the color completely. So I'm going to start with this red one by increasing the saturation a little bit, and as you can see, that made the red color on the mountains already pop out a lot more. Maybe that's a little bit too much, so I'm going to drop it to about 4, and then I'm going to make it a little bit brighter so that it kind of matches a bit more and doesn't look very unnatural. Now over here I might adjust my orange tab a little bit. As you can see, these mountains are orange, so just by increasing the saturation a little bit, it made that orange color pop out. But I'm going to darken the orange a little bit as well so that it's kind of in line with the red and it blends in nicely. So there we go. These colors of the cliffs have now popped out completely, which is what I was hoping for. Now next is the yellow color. So over here I want the yellows to be a little bit different. So if I go forward all the way, the yellows become more orangey. So I'm going to just change the hue of the yellow completely and make it more like an orangey color. I'm going to increase the saturation of the yellow a little bit as well, and then I might decrease the lightness of the yellow just to make it a little bit darker to make the colors really pop out. Up next we've got the green. So the green over here would be this grass and the trees and shrubs over here, and then you've got the water here which also has a green tint. I'm going to change the tint of the green completely because this green is alright, but I think I'd like it to be something a little bit different. So I'm going to change the hue to about 17, and then I'm going to increase the saturation to about 4 to make that pop out a little bit more. And as you can see, the greens look a little bit different now. If you want to see the before and after of the photo, you can always click down here to arrange horizontally, and this is what we've got so far. So as you can see, the greens were very like flat before, and now they're kind of really popping out. The colors are starting to come together nicely. So back to our single view. Up next, we're going to scroll down a little bit. We've got the aqua color, which I don't think there's a lot of in this photo. To check, you can always drag this all the way full and all the way not full. So actually there's a little bit in the water over here, which isn't a lot. I'm just going to bring this down a bit. We don't really need the aqua color because it's not really used in a lot of places over here. And also the color purple is nowhere, so I'm just going to switch it off. And then the magenta color, let's see if we've got that somewhere. Only got it on this little suitcase or whatever that is. So I'm just going to bring this down by quite a bit. We don't really need that to be showing. So we can also switch that off completely. Alright, and I'm happy with the colors for now. You can always do the before and after. For now, I'm happy. I've got the red and orange popping out how I wanted it to pop out. The green's looking better. The water is not so overwhelmingly green that it takes over the photo. So far, it's looking alright. So now I'm going to go back to my single view, and the next tab I'm going to jump into is this lens correction tab over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now what this tab does, it lets you import your lens data from a database from Canon. So if I click on here to load my data, the lens that I used is the 10 to 18mm lens, and it's already selected, so I'm happy with that. I can go ahead and click here to optimize the digital lens, and this will apply the best settings for this lens for this photo. As you can see, it's spinning over here and it applied them, and I can always see if I'm happy with that or if I'm not happy with that. I can just undo that. Alright, I think it's done a good job. Over here, you'll notice you can't do the before and after while you're in this tab, so I'd have to go back to my basic image adjustment tab to see the before and after. And yeah, it's still looking good. So I'm going to jump back into my single image. And the next thing I want to do is crop this photo and maybe straighten it out a little bit so that it looks a bit better. So I'm going to go into the crop and rotate the image tab and give the photo a chance to load. Alright, once the photo's loaded, I'm just going to click on the screen, and as you can see, these little squares pop up. What I'll do is I'll go in the corner and just drag this down a little bit. I want to zoom in a little bit on this mountain and kind of get it aligned nicely. Something like that might do. I'm going to end the photo here so that it doesn't distract over here from the main kind of subject which I wanted to show. I'm just going to align this, and then over here the angle, as you can see, this kind of water line when the water meets the shore is a little bit skewed. I'd like that to be straight so that it looks a little bit better when you look at it, and I'm going to align it with one of these lines. So for me that looks all right now. So to apply this, I'm just going to click on this tab again, and I'm happy with the way that looks for now, so I'm going to leave it like this. Alright, this photo's looking good so far, in my opinion, so this is all subjective. So I mean, some of you guys might not want as much saturation and different colors and things like that, so it's all up to you. You're the owner of this photo, however you think it looks best. Now what I'm going to do, the sky, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker, and maybe the water, I might do something with the water a little bit. So let me go into this here, adjust specific areas tab, and then let my image load. Alright, over here I've got the first group selected, so I'm going to do the sky as group 1 and the water as group 2. So with the first group selected, I'm just going to decrease the brightness all the way so I can see what I'm selecting. And then if I click on set adjustment area, you can see this thing pops up, and it might let me now color in the part I want to adjust. So I'm just going to go over the sky. I don't really want to go over the mountains, so I'm just going to adjust the size a little bit. Alright, I've gone over the mountains, so I'm just going to undo this one step, and then I'm going to click over here. Still not good. It's too much. So there, yeah, that looks alright. And then I'm just going to color this in a little bit. Yeah, that should be all right. We've got our sky selected. So what I want to do now is bring the brightness back to how it was. And now whatever I do over here will apply only to the sky. So this is how it was. It's a little bit overexposed in my opinion. So I'm just going to bring this brightness down a little bit. Let's say to about -16. Yeah, I like the way that looks. It's not so blinding now when you look at it. And then I'm also going to increase the contrast a little bit. Maybe to 23. That looks alright for me. We could increase the saturation a little bit, but because there's not much blue showing, it's just up here in the top, it's not going to make much of a difference. Alright, and the second part I want to do now is change my group to group number 2, because now I'm going to work with the water part. So let me make the size of this brush a bit bigger. I'm going to make the radius a little bit smaller and slightly more bigger. Yeah, that should cover it. And then what I'm going to do is bring the brightness of group 2 down completely, so that when I adjust things, when I select things with this tool, I can see what it's selecting. So alright, we've selected the water now, so I'm going to go ahead and bring the brightness to how it was before. So let's bring the brightness up again. And then how does the water look? So let's see, if we leave the brightness at 3, that's fine. I'm going to increase the contrast to maybe, let's try it that. Yeah, that looks alright. Made the water look much more sharper. And then the hue, do I want to change the hue of the water? Let's have a look. If I bring it all the way down, not really. If I bring it all the way the other way, it becomes very green. So the hue, I'm just going to leave how it was. And then the saturation, I might want to bring up or bring down the saturation a little bit rather. So bring it down a little bit so that it's not so green and overpowering for the image. You could bring it down a little bit more. And there we go. Alright, I'm going to go back into my basic adjustment image tab, and then I'm going to compare this to the before image. So let's see if this has changed, if it's much better. And there we go. This is the final image, what it looks like. I'm quite happy with that. The colors are popping out how I wanted them to. The sky looks a bit better as well, and so does the water, and the details on this are very good, and the colors of the greens are good. So all in all, I'm very happy with the result of this photo, and this is a photo I would save. Okay, I'm going to give you guys one more tip, and this is for anybody that's using Photoshop. There's actually a very easy way to now, once you've finished editing your photo in DPP4, to import this photo into Photoshop and do further adjustments. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So what you'd have to do is click on Tools and then customize your toolbar. And over here, there's an option called Photoshop. If it wasn't unchecked, go ahead and check it and then close. And this should give you a button appear here that says Photoshop. So over here, you can quickly, by pressing this button, open your image in Photoshop for further editing. As you can see, it's in progress and opening up Photoshop. And there you have it, it opened it up. Our image is in Photoshop now, exactly how we had it in DPP4. Just for those who are interested, there's a really cool feature in Photoshop that replaces the sky. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but if you go to Edit, Sky Replacement, it actually changes the whole sky in the photo for you. So if I didn't like the sky before, I can change the sky, and there's lots of different styles I can choose from that would replace the sky in the current photo. I love this little option here because sometimes you take a really great photo but the clouds or something looks a bit funny. This gives you an option to change it. So just to show you guys, you could play around. This one's a bit too orange, so I think I like the previous one better, but there's tons to choose from over here. And that's just a little tip for everyone that's using DPP and Photoshop together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little demonstration on how I would usually edit my photos. I mean, everyone is different, so you guys might have your own ways and methods. Do give me a comment down below. Let me know what you're doing that's a little bit different. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. And that's the end of the demo/tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helps you out and teaches you something cool. If it did, do give me a thumbs up and do consider subscribing to this channel. Hopefully I'll be making many cool videos to come in the future. So as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, take care, and goodbye.